Hello everybody, it's John Pace here. It's been a while. Today we're gonna do, I guess, what's called a reaction video. I don't think I've ever done anything like this before. It's because I read an article recently, an interesting article by Associate Editor Steve Dent over at Engadget about his experience with HDR and how difficult it was for him. So I just wanted to go through the article a little bit real quickly, touch on a few points, and hopefully wrap this video up in under 5 minutes, which would be an accomplishment considering how I like to ramble on and on and on. So anyway, let's get to it. The title of the article is "I Went Through Hell to Make an HDR YouTube Video So You Don't Have to." So anyway, that obviously the title grabbed my attention right away because ever since I got the Sony a7S III, I've been making several videos a week and uploading them to YouTube in HDR, and haven't really had a problem with the actual process of uploading to YouTube or even creating the videos, except for a few problems with Final Cut Pro. But let's go on. And also I'll leave a link to this article in the description so you can go ahead and follow along if you want. And underneath the title it says, "Until Microsoft and Google get it together, HDR will remain a niche on YouTube." Apparently his problems are technical problems maybe with Microsoft and Google. I don't use Microsoft, I use a Mac, and I'm in the Apple ecosystem, I guess. But I do have to use Google, and there are a few weird things about Google, but as far as actually uploading HDR videos to YouTube, I haven't had any real issues whatsoever. But let's find out what he has to say. He says, if you're a YouTube creator, HDR high dynamic range video is a good way to draw eyeballs and make your footage look as beautiful as possible, which of course I have to agree with that, which is why that is all I upload now. I'm not interested in standard dynamic range video, which should actually be called low dynamic range video from now on, not standard. Compared to standard video, it's far brighter and more colorful, almost more than reality. I don't know, I might quibble with that because it's actually, if you compare a normal HDR video, say on Netflix, to an HDR video, to a normal video, on Netflix, the overall average brightness isn't a whole lot brighter. You don't have to like turn down the brightness on your TV or anything because it's blinding you. The brightness is only located usually in a few percent of the screen. But anyway, that's just a quibbling, and so far I agree with everything he has to say about the HDR video being extremely beautiful to look at. With that in mind, I decided earlier this summer to create Engadget's first 4K HDR video for YouTube on Fujifilm's X-T4 and document the process in an explainer. How hard could it be? Little did I know that it would turn out to be a train wreck in nearly every possible way. In the end, I ran out of time and failed to post the video in HDR, which is, so we had a difficult experience. But I'm stubborn, so I tried again, and this time I succeeded. However, it was still a huge challenge, so this article and the accompanying video are as much a cautionary tale as a how-to guide. I'm also calling out tech companies, especially Microsoft and Google, and asking them to step up and make it easier for both viewers and creators. I think he means to say I'm calling on tech companies to step it up and make it easier for viewers and creators. I think what his contention is that the whole process is so complicated and difficult that it's really only made for people who are making content for like the big streaming providers like Netflix or Amazon or something like that, whereas for the little guy like you and me, just YouTubers, that it's needlessly difficult, and for sure the process could be streamlined. I can't quibble with that at all. What's holding creators back from HDR? If you're a producer, HDR video can elevate your work because it's simply brighter and more colorful than standard video. The benefits are more dramatic than 4K, which only delivers extra resolution that many people can't even see. which again, several years ago when I was in the States visiting my sister, I went to a Best Buy and I was standing next to a big screen. I don't know if it was an OLED, an LCD, but I said, this 4K picture is amazing. I was talking to one of the salespeople, and they said to me, that's not 4K, that's 1080p. So yeah, I can't tell the difference between the two, I guess. While a few people own HDR monitors, plenty of folks have HDR televisions and HDR smartphones. If you have a newer HDR capable phone or TV and want to see the stunning difference between SDR and HDR, watch an ordinary video and then watch this one. And Steve links to a video, an HDR video, which is really superb. But this is where I have to interject again. I had my very first experience watching a couple of my videos on phones, in particular iPhones. One was an XS and the other I'm not sure, but both of them, the picture was so dark and dim, and this was not just with my videos, but also with some that were like demo videos that you see in the showroom, on the showroom floors of shops in department stores and stuff where they sell televisions, and they were really dark. I don't know if that's the case with all the HDR phones or not, but the phone, the XS, I think has a brightness value of around 625 nits or something. I assume that would be the entire screen. Of course, if you have a home television that's rated at 625 nits, like say an OLED television is maybe 600 to 800 nits in general, they generally never get that bright overall. That brightness is only over a few percent of the actual display, because it has ABL, or automatic brightness limiter, which I think has to do with laws regarding energy use and stuff, which computer monitors, phones, and tablets don't have to abide by. So anyway, he goes on to say that there's a lot of jargon that makes it very difficult, concepts that are difficult to understand, that the process is begging for more streamlining, that the key players have focused mostly on professional HDR production and streaming delivery to consumers on HDR TVs. Meanwhile, little attention has been paid to YouTubers and PC users. And again, I've got to say that if you do a search online on either YouTube or on Google and look for information, how-to workflows, how to do the whole HDR thing, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to find any current up-to-date information that really tells you or explains to you how to do the whole process in like Final Cut Pro or in DaVinci Resolve in a very simple, easy to understand way that includes not just the technical aspects of what settings to set Resolve at, like what resolution, what gamma, what gamut, what export, what numbers you need for bit rates and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about also about actually how to grade the video. Those are completely absent from the whole space. Anyway, then he says that there are problems with the technical problems with the way Windows 10 handles HDR. And anyway, he goes on, and I'm going to leave a link to this. I think what he does end up uploading a video, but the video I think is was an HLG video that he converted to HDR or something like that, and I'm not going to really criticize it a whole lot. It looks about as good as all my early attempts at uploading HLG, which is to say not very spectacular or anything like that. But he also has recommendations for equipment. The cameras he recommends are very good. Okay, I'm not going to finish. I wanted to finish this right away, but I should say that he recommends very fast PC or a fast laptop, which is recommendable now for handling the files. It's good to have as powerful a computer or laptop as you can afford. that you'll need an HDR monitor of some kind. The standards are really confusing right now. For example, VESA, VESA is an organization that rates monitors and assigns ratings for HDR, like HDR 400 and HDR 1000, and their rating system is really meaningless. Like, for example, HDR 400 is not HDR at all. It's 8-bit, 400 nits, and Rec 709, so it's a Rec 709 color space. It's 8 bits, it's not 10 bits, it's not Rec 2020, so it's not HDR at all. So basically, every computer, every monitor could call itself HDR now. So things are really messed up. Practically any camera you get today can shoot log or raw. So let me see. Anyway, I'm going to just leave a link to this in the description, yeah, I agree with him. It is very difficult to find good information online about HDR. That most of the videos online that you find, they don't even use an HDR monitor to grade. They say, oh, you can do this and you can do that. Well, you can't. You need an HDR monitor or an OLED television set in order to grade. You need an HDR monitor. There's no way around that. And so I agree with him. As I learn, I try to share everything I find out and post it on my blog, the workflows and so on like that. And once I start working with DaVinci Resolve and doing HDR in there, which should be starting next week when the local shops get the speed editor in, I can pick that up, get the DaVinci Resolve for free. And the studio version of Resolve 17 has excellent tools for HDR grading. And once I figure those out, I'll be sure to share all that on my blog. So keep an eye out for it, and I'll put a link in my video on my YouTube channel when I get all that stuff. Anyway, this is a lot of rambling. I'm going to cut it short right now because we've been talking for forever. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.